Hello SGD, Sacred Geometry Decoded, and just a quick update. So I've been looking especially at Heliopolis and some very interesting connections to, well, wider Egypt. But so here we are at the Giza Plateau, and I could include Menkaras, but there's some very interesting, very lovely information going on there. But what I've simply done here is extended line from corner to corner from Khafre's pyramid, line from corner to corner of a Great Pyramid, as well as touching their corners. Now, there was a great documentary series called Time Scanners. Stephen Burrows and his team went around the world to a lot of ancient sites, best three-dimensional laser surveys, best equipment, and what they confirmed was, for instance, that from corner to corner, this alignment we see here does indeed point at Heliopolis. And not only that, it actually points at the ancient mound of Heliopolis, the original natural mound, which is so important in the Egyptian creation story, especially for the 9 gods of the Ennead. But so just extending these lines out, and we come over to Heliopolis now in the northern suburbs of Cairo. And so 1, 2, 3. Now the actual original mound is in this area here, and they did took samples drilling down. That's the actual mound there. Now you could maneuver a few feet either way. I'm just working off Google Earth. I wish I had much better systems for it, but even there we get reasonable accurate. Where 1, 2, 3. So from Khafre's pyramid, the Great Pyramid, but also the alignment of Khafre's and the Great Pyramid, pointing here to Heliopolis. Now, was it late last year? They found this giant colossal statue here in Heliopolis of Pharaoh Psamtik I, 7th century BC. He was an important emperor because one of the Sate kings, and he, almost like a Renaissance man, he brought back the old school and tried to after many invaders and religious movements, political movements in Egypt. He tried to restore the old way. That's why one of the reasons why this particular pharaoh is so important. But this colossal statue was found, and where it was found here is area 200 in Heliopolis, which is right here. That's the actual area that they. So there you can see that portion that's free there of the buildings. And that's that area here. Now, this red line, where does this extend down to? Well, to another very important pyramid field, where we have Sahure, Neferikare, and Neferefre pyramids. And from corner to corner to corner, they point at Heliopolis. And it's interesting, it's at a 20-degree angle. Now, I pointed this out in an earlier video, but again, we see now what I want to now look at is another alignment, which I don't believe has been looked at, and where we have Amenikwanau pyramid. I hope I get that pronunciation right, which is one of these dismantled pyramids. I think it was even recorded, it was already damaged, but during the Roman or Ptolemaic era, they used a lot of the stones there for recycling. And over just above here we have the Amenemhat III pyramid, the Black Pyramid as it's also referred to. Now the outline isn't so clear, so this one again, but even within reasonable, because we do get a bit of a trace there, we can trace out the base of that pyramid, and this time from their southern corners through there, and it does lead us not only to Heliopolis, but that particular to the mound, just like with where Khafre's and the Great Pyramid point to. That's where so this line here goes down to the Black Pyramid and Amenikwanau pyramid. So again, we have this confluence of these pyramid alignments going there. Now, from the Sahure, Neferikare, and Neferefre, they point to Heliopolis still, but especially to this area where that statue was found. And there were other finds in this area, so if you just want to go deeper, in some previous videos I posted links to the recent excavations, even going back to Petri, where this area seems to have been again a special sanctuary inside the complex of Heliopolis, which is very interesting. Also that it's at a 20-degree angle, or 1/18th, especially if you're into your Egyptian anyway. But what we have there is a nice little happening as well. And on a side note, this is a 36-degree angle. This distance from here to here is the same. This distance from here to here is the same. What we have is actually there's a pentagram built into this geometry of this particular part of the city. So 36 degrees also, and they're of equal length. So the length here to here, this portion, or this one, but let's just say this portion here, if that is 1, then there to here is phi by geometric definition, which is a nice little, a lot of, especially in the modern world, street planning going on, and I've got to catch up on it because they're planning on building a new capital complex for Egypt and Cairo. And this was a couple years ago that they announced it, and the specifics of the building and the street plan was still a little bit rough, but I'm telling you, it's going to be based on this same geomancy that you'll find in Washington, Canberra, Brasilia, Astana, Paris, London, and all these major capitals, which are also the ones which are, have either original ancient Egyptian obelisks or representations of them. But okay, that's off the topic. But yes, Heliopolis, alignments of not just 1, but 2, 3 pyramid fields. And I want to go a little bit, because there is some really, really interesting stuff here. And of course, Heliopolis, the ancient text, that's the Ra Atum temple there. That's where the most learned people of Egypt dwelt, as Herodotus and other people spoke of, the ancient writers. The finds here, so in this area, now it's covered, but there was a necropolis here where they found pieces of coffin and inscriptions of the Egyptian priests who lived in or worked at Heliopolis, and the high priest was called the chief of the observers. He was effectively the astronomer royal. And again, later, it stayed famous for quite some time, but even again, the Egyptian records, this is the Ben mound, Book of the Dead, pyramid texts, coffin texts, so many others, again, refer to this, so often referred to, but alignments, and there's quite some very, very interesting things going on, and I might as well bring this up, and I'll do a little bit more on it, but I showed some, like an early little series of videos. I was testing, and these was Charles Piazzi Smythe, who was least first reported. So if you center on the Great Pyramid, and that's just the pyramid plan upside down, and it goes to Port Said and Alexandria, but it's this triangle here is the pyramid, but it's multiplied by 1,000. So there's a 1 to 1,000 ratio. If we go down to the Great Pyramid, and so, okay, from the corner of the pyramid here, through there to that alignment, to the mound, where all these, not just the Giza pyramids, but also one of the other southern fields, where they come to this point. So from here to the southwestern corner of a pyramid is exactly 25,920 yards, which converts to several other recognized ancient systems of measure. So that's from the southwest corner. Now, the base of a pyramid is 230.45 meters, slight variations on each side. So 230.45 meters times 1,000 is how we get this larger projection. So times 1,000. Now, if you go to the corner, closest corner, that's the astronomical corner and the timekeeping corner, which was what Heliopolis was famous for. and from the corner of a pyramid it's in kilometers. So we just follow those lines to Heliopolis, and where we have the necropolis again on okay, so where it okay in that okay, but let me actually turn that to meters so we get more decimal points. The Great Pyramid times 100 is 230 and 45 meters, give or take a fraction. But now we see to the wall. Now the wall's extended out a little bit, but again, this is in the necropolis, and now it's buried under modern day suburban Cairo, but this was the necropolis, and we'll probably never find out because now people got to live their lives and carry on. They can't get stuck in the past too much, but what we have is a 1 to 100 from the pyramid to Heliopolis following that alignment, and just like the Great Pyramid mirrors the Nile Delta at 1 to 1,000. So there's actually quite a bit, very a repeatable pattern at very set proportions, and this will actually also join the Kaaba, and will also join the Well of Souls in Jerusalem in extraordinary metrology and proportion, which really pushes any sort of notion of coincidence. It's proof's a strong word, but to deny it outright, now that is a sign of that's the river, the Nile, but there's denial as well, and when it comes to being so sophisticated, the alignments, what they're able to achieve was extraordinary, and it can be measured, it can be tested, and combined with archaeological finds that although this falls just short of touching the walls of at least the known portion of wall in, so what do you want? We want 23, 4, 5. Okay, so if we could, I would suggest that right under here, right under this portion, would be an important sanctuary, possibly to the higher priests of Heliopolis. Pure speculation, but this is an the necropolis was around this portion to the south and to the east of Heliopolis itself. And so it's not just one pyramid field, not just two, and that they're again pointing to specific known sanctuaries where there are archaeological finds that have been there, and again the importance of Heliopolis in the ancient texts and even later writers, Aristotle, Herodotus, Strabo, and others. And so with that, have a good one. It's an overload once you get into, anyway, cheers.